Well, hello everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Hope you're doing great on this beautiful Thursday. Looking forward to bringing you another lesson as we continue looking at patience. Now, as we pick the vine, we've been looking at love and joy and peace. And now we get to patience. And it's like, man, that's a really hard one, Pastor, because so many things try our patience. Well, what we find as we look through this study is the building of that. It's a process. It is not an overnight thing because it is part of our flaw, I guess, if you want to call it that, because we deal with so many different things that test us, and I think patience is part of that, of understanding the process. And so that's why we continually see, as we're looking at these different passages, the word wait. I'm going to give you another one today. Psalm 62 and verse 5. It says, "My soul, wait upon God, for my expectation is from Him." So we hear that. Wait on God. What does that require? Patience. Waiting on the Lord. It builds character. Now, one may say, well, Pastor, it's just too hard. I don't disagree. It's very difficult because, again, we get conditioned in this life that we want it now. I mean, there's even commercials over the years, like some of the financial commercials. It's mine and I want it now. We get conditioned to that. I want it right now. I don't want to wait. We talked in earlier lessons. That's the advent of the invention of things like microwaves and stuff. I don't want to wait. I want it right now. But when it comes to quality, think about this. The things that we wait on sometimes have so much more meaning, or they're so much more enjoyable. That quick microwave meal, and maybe that's the best that someone can have in that moment, it may keep you from being hungry. However, the gourmet meal or the really prepared meal that might take 2 hours to make, or maybe it's a delicacy, a smoked meat of some type that you like, and maybe it takes 12 hours for it to get done. But when you get it, it was worth every second of that wait. When we compare that to the things of the Lord, sometimes we want it right now. And God is saying, but you're not ready for it right now because you've not matured to that level, or because you wouldn't handle it the same way, or maybe you wouldn't appreciate it right now as much as you would later. That comes with time, that comes with maturity, and that comes with waiting on the Lord and growing in our relationship with Him. It builds character. It builds patience. And the reason so is as we get to know Him more, as we grow in Him more over the course of time, we realize God always comes through. He never leaves us hanging. Yeah, I know it seems that way sometimes because some people say, well, I've been praying for this for 20 years and it hasn't happened. There's a reason. And sometimes it's not because it didn't happen. Sometimes we rejected the answer. It's not that God doesn't answer. God answers yes, no, or wait. Those are the three things. And there's that word wait again, right? Isaiah chapter 40, very, very familiar verse because we've heard it multiple times. But I want us to look at this extensively today. And this will be our broadcast for the day. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. And it says this, "But they who," imagine this, "wait upon the Lord." So there's that verse again. There's a reason that things are repeated over and over and over throughout Scripture. There's a message there, friends. Just like every time that we see "fear not," or "do not fear," or "do not be afraid," there's a reason that that's there. And there's a reason it's there multitudes of times. Just like Jesus in the New Testament would say, "He who has an ear to hear, let him listen." That's not only in the Gospels, we see that repeated in Revelation. There's reasons for repeated messages. So here we see that word again, wait. Those who wait upon the Lord shall. Now, I realize that that's not a word that we use a lot. And depending on what translation you read that from, we may see will, and then they mean the same thing. But the word will, shall, is interchangeable. It's an affirmative word. It means it's going to happen. That's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing. Waiting upon the Lord will. This means a result is going to come. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Renew. I will return to a strength that I previously had. I will become stronger than I previously was. I remember here just recently, I don't have to remember, it's like right now. I went through a period of time where I had been pretty sick, and I lost a multitude of the strength that I had. I had an injury to one of my legs, and it just depleted me. I wasn't able to do a lot of things from the strength department that I could have done when I was younger, or maybe even just a few years ago. Here recently, due to some new training and a trainer and some different vitamins and supplements, whatever, I've been able to rebuild a lot of that and feel 150 times better than I have in the last 5 years. Here we see what we're not just looking at our physical strength, but our emotional, our mental, our spiritual, all these different things. He says, if you wait upon the Lord, you shall renew their strength and shall, there's that word again, mount up with wings as eagles. When we think of an eagle flying, it's not just flying, it's soaring. It's majestic. It's like it's floating on the air. It's something beautiful to behold. That's freedom. That's freedom. That is, I am not tethered to anything, and I have not a worry in the world. Waiting upon the Lord brings us that. That is also symbolic of patience. I'm just waiting. I'm just soaring and floating on this air, and I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. For the right opportunity. It says, they shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Run and not be weary. How many of us get exasperated? How many of us get worn out? Just sometimes getting off the couch. All right. Our endurance is a powerful thing that can be built. And it takes a little while to do it. You may be only to do 45 seconds or 1 minute on an elliptical today or a treadmill, and you're gasping for air. Next week, because you've consistently done it several days in a row, you might be able to get 2. And then before long, you realize, wait a minute, I can do 5. Now I can do 20. Now I can go an hour, and my heart rate remains consistent. It is possible. And he's saying here, those who wait upon the Lord find things better. Here, the word wait, if we go back to original language, is kavah. Q-A-V-A-H, kavah. And what does it mean? The word wait. It means to bind together by twisting. Now, why does that matter? What is the context of that? If we're waiting upon the Lord, we'll be constantly seeking Him. Constantly seeking Him and being bound together with Him, causing us to have a desire to carry out His will for our life. You see how beautiful that is? Waiting upon the Lord. When we think of the word eagles, again, we think of the majestic, beautiful creature that we see flying in the air, soaring in the air. Maybe where we used to live, there was a lot of eagles, and you would see them sitting on the lake or the river banks, and it would just be sitting up in the tree, and it's just such a beautiful sight to behold. Eagles, like everything else, do not stay perpetually young. None of us do. But eagles have something different than any of the rest of us. Eagles, every 5 years, they molt their feathers. In other words, they fall off and they get new ones. And so you may have a 20-year-old bird or a 25-year-old bird, however old they get to be, and they look brand new. They take on a luster that gives them that youthful appearance. That's what God is saying here. Wait upon the Lord. I will give you the strength for the journey that you may be able to run and not be weary. We get tired of waiting sometimes because we want it now. But I think the question that we have to ask ourselves, do I want quality or do I want quick? because sometimes quick is an easy fix, but it doesn't last. Quality lasts forever. And there's something powerful about that. And when we think about waiting on the Lord, sometimes we get struggles and strained and upset and whatever the case, because we don't want to wait anymore. But I'm beginning to understand, and I'm talking to myself as much as I am anybody who's listening. Waiting upon the Lord is becoming a part of my maturity, and I hope that it would be for you as well. Not only that, not only in an aging process, but in a learning process, that as we draw closer to Him, we realize not only is His will better, does He know better, but He desires the very best for us. And I don't say that in a prosperity kind of a way, but the very, very best. He wants us to have quality rather than just a quick fix. Waiting upon the Lord, it builds character. It builds patience. It is possible to have, as we see the fruit continuing to be bared on this vine, as we continue to pick that vine, and we find love, we find joy, we find peace, and we absolutely can find patience right in the midst of all of that. God bless you, friends. Hope you have a great rest of the day and a great weekend. That does it for us here at Making It Simple this week. Lord willing, I'll be back with you. I won't be back with you on Monday. I have a travel day on Monday, and it's a holiday. A lot of people will be gone, but I'll be back with you on Tuesday of next week as we continue this lesson, picking the vine. The fruit of the Spirit is patience. How can I have that? Wait upon the Lord. I'll see you then. God bless you, friends.